Something is shifting, and nobody wants to admit it. The conversation about Israel has completely flipped. People who used to defend it are quiet, but if you say anything, especially online, you're either a sellout or an anti-Semite. There's no middle ground, it's just chaos. But here's the real question. Why is the youth in America walking away from Israel? And it's not random, and it's not even about politics. Let's get into it. Paul laid out in Romans 11 that some branches were broken off and Gentiles were grafted in, added by grace, not swapped in to replace Israel. He also said in the chapter, "Do not be ignorant, but tremble. If God didn't spare the natural branches, he won't spare us either." And that wasn't a warning against Israel. It was a warning to us. God's covenant with Israel still stands. He didn't cancel it when he opened the doors to the Gentiles. He expanded it. And we're grafted into the same root, not a new tree. Their story and our story is connected. So when people act like Israel doesn't matter anymore, or that the church somehow replaced them, they're missing the entire point of grace. Israel exists, and we exist, because God's mercy allows for both. But you can feel it. Younger voters, left and right, are rethinking Israel. I mean, take, for example, Zohran Mamdani, the new mayor of New York, a socialist backed by the far left. In a debate, everyone was asked where they would go on their first trip as mayor, and everyone said Israel. But Mamdani said he'd stay at home and focus on New Yorkers, Jewish New Yorkers included.
Mayor of New York is always considered significant. Where would you go first? Left to right, Ms. Adams.
First visit, I would visit the Holy Land.
Mr. Cuomo?
Given the hostility and the anti-Semitism that has been shown in New York, I would go to Israel.
Mr. Tilson, where would you go?
Yeah, I'd make my fourth trip to Israel, followed by my fifth trip to Ukraine, two of our greatest allies fighting on the front lines of the global war on terror.
Mr. Mamdani?
I would stay in New York City. My plans are to address New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs and focus on that.
Mr. Mamdani, can I just jump in? Would you visit Israel as mayor?
I will be doing, as the mayor, I'll be standing up for Jewish New Yorkers, and I'll be meeting them wherever they are across the 5 boroughs, whether that's in their synagogues and temples or at their homes or at the subway platform, because ultimately we need to focus on delivering on their concerns.
And just yes or no, do you believe in a Jewish state of Israel?
I believe Israel has the right to exist.
Not
as a Jewish state?
Notice.
As a state with equal rights.
He won't, he
Not
won't
as a
say it
Jewish
has a
state.
right to exist as a Jewish state. Be very
And
clear
his
on
answer
that.
was no, he won't visit Israel.
I said that very
That's what he was
clearly.
trying to say.
No, unlike
No,
you, I
you
answer,
never-
unlike
you
you, I
never
answer
said
questions
no.
very
Okay.
directly.
All right.
My goal would be to take my first trip to Israel. My wife's life work in this area means a lot.
And now I don't agree with a single thing that Mamdani stands for, but that answer caught people off guard because it exposed how performative politics has become. And right on cue, both sides lost it. And that's the problem. 2 extremes and 0 discernment. And here's what everyone forgets. You can criticize Israel's government and still care about the people. You can see and point out the corruption and still believe God's hand is on his covenant. Both can be true at the same time. And everyone talks about the 2-state solution, but how do you make peace with a movement that still chants death to America and death to Israel? And those chants aren't just from overseas. They were shouting it here in Dearborn, Michigan.
All of your chants and all of your shouts upon the head of America.
And yeah, it's free speech. They can say it. But the reason they're so bold enough to say it is because their movement is gaining traction a lot, especially among youth in America. The same hostility towards Israel is spreading all over the entire globe. But the Bible said it would. And underneath it all, Americans are frustrated. They can't buy a home, groceries cost double, and they're watching billions go overseas while their lives get harder. And that's how Mamdani got into office. And I get it. They're angry. But blaming Israel isn't the answer. We can support our allies and still put America first. Those two things don't cancel each other out. And the Bible already told us that the Jewish people would return to their homeland, and it happened. That's prophecy fulfilled. And there's been peace deals. The Abraham Accords were huge. But that's not the end game. Real peace won't come until Christ returns. And everything before that is just temporary. And this topic matters not just because it's trending, but because the world's reaction to Israel shows where everyone's hearts really are. The hostility and confusion that we're seeing is not random. It's spiritual. And the more the world turns against Israel, the clearer the line becomes between truth and deception. And the words America first shouldn't mean America only. We can defend our borders and still stand with our allies who share our values. And yes, we send billions to Israel, but most of that money circles right back to the U.S. defense manufacturing. We're talking American jobs, American technology, and shared military research. It's not a blank check. It's a strategic alliance that strengthens our own defense. Satan knows a house divided cannot stand. And this topic is not just dividing the conservative movement, it's dividing the whole world. And another thing, just like we have CNN and MSNBC here pumping out propaganda, the Middle East has its own version, like Al Jazeera, among others. But a lot of Americans are getting their news on Israel from those same outlets. But it's the same playbook. Just like MSNBC and CNN here, you can't trust that. You have to dig deeper. And at the end of the day, this isn't just about Israel. It's about who we are. Do we stand for truth or follow the crowd because it's easier? But one thing's for certain, we do not want to end up on the wrong side of history or the wrong side of God. That's it for today, folks. Remember to stay strong and keep fighting the good fight. We'll see you next time.